Okay, and we are just double check that we're live. Should be good. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we're definitely good. But I should increase that game volume. I had lowered for, I think it was Jack. Yeah, that sounds fine. Hopefully. I'll have to adjust it once the gunfire starts. But yeah, welcome to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. This is the latest game from Owlcat. I have played a couple. Oh, actually, I've only played one Owlcat game before, and that was Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous. I did a couple one-shots of Wrath, and this is the new one that just dropped. So, one thing to say right now about this game, I don't know if I'll make it a full playthrough. I might. It all depends if people are interested. But, I mean, it's going to be long because it's a CRPG. And CRPGs are really long. Now, let's see what we got. Okay, we've got our standard difficulty section for them. Okay, it is not here. One of my favorite things I love about Wrath of the Righteous is that core Pathfinder is harder than what the game considers hard. So here we got normal, we got daring, hard, and unfair, and then they also added a story mode. But I will set it to normal and then customize from there. You know, I don't see any reason to change any of these, so now let's just go. Now for the character creation. So we've got a couple different things here. We've got some pre-built characters that we can use. If you haven't played this game before, I mean, the pre-builds are not anything like to scoff at. If you're only on normal, they're pretty good, and they'll give you an idea of how the system works. I have played the closed beta. So I'm going to be going with a custom character. And wow, they've added a lot. I know I want some kind of augment for my eyes, or for my character, just because it wouldn't be a 40k character without them.
See you destroyed.
They actually added a lot of them.
Ha! Another clean strike.
Power resides
fight in the will of the righteous.
Okay, that's just the sister of battle.
Time to reap the spoils of the battle.
Ruinous favor prevails.
Madness conquers the void.
I'm gonna go bad, I will explain why in a bit. So, in terms of... Okay, there's a lot to go over with character creation. And for once, I actually should explain, because this isn't an older game that I'm like, oh no, a lot of people already know this, I should go over that. This is brand new. So, there is Homeworld. Kind of self-explanatory, it is our place of origin. Depending on where we came from, we'll have different traits, and it will actually affect our modifiers, because depending on where you grew up in the Empire, you're going to have a completely different upbringing. First example, most obvious, Death World. For those who are unaware of what a Death World in Warhammer is, a Death World will kill you just for breathing on it. Two of the more famous examples are Catachan and Krieg. The Catachan jungle fighters are, from birth, basically like Rambo. The most famous of being Sly Marbo. They're a bit... Okay, I'll be honest, a lot of the Death World factions are kind of a meme. But, Catachan is just like, you know, they're the big Rambo people with just knives the size of swords. Big guns, they don't wear any flak armor, and they always look like they're screaming. And these aren't Space Marines, these are just normal people. The other example is Krieg. They all wear kind of like the World War I style gas masks and like suits and everything, and they're all craving death. And I don't mean like they want to kill a lot. They do want to do that, but they also crave death because they think it is going to redeem them in the eyes of the Emperor for some transgression of their ancestors. Don't even know if the Emperor actually is upset at Krieg because he's been on the golden toilet. Hive Worlds. Hive Worlds are just densely packed planets, or basically everything is just humans. It is insane. A really good example of a Hive World is the game Hired Gun, from my understanding. An example of a Hive World was, I believe, Nocturne was its name. It is where Conrad Kurz of the Night Lords trader faction comes from. The planet crime rate was so high that by the time you were 11, you had some crimes under your belt that I'm not allowed to talk about on these websites. Yeah, that planet's fucked. Forge Worlds are planets of the, as I lovingly call them, the toaster fuckers, the Adeptus Mechanicus. They're weird technophiles. If I remember correctly, a good example of a Forge World is the game Warhammer 40k Space Marine. The planet that you are fighting on is a Forge World overrun with orcs. And I will talk about orcs later if I get the chance, because God, please let me talk about orcs. I love Warhammer orcs. But if you choose the Forge World trade, you can actually go a bit further, and you actually get to choose 3 different kinds of Forge Worlds. I will go forward to show that. Like, you can actually choose, like, it's a very versatile class. You can choose to have, like, analytical systems will increase your int, locomotion is your speed, and subskin will actually increase your toughness, making you a little bit more tanky, and I believe also increase your physical damage, I like to say, with melee weapons. Imperial Worlds are... they're your human in every other game. It is the most basic. You're gonna get, for being humanity's finest, you're gonna get a plus 10 in any characteristic except for weapon skill, ballistic skill, plus 10. And it's not gonna have like a lot of positives. It's kind of just able to go to anything. But you can, it kind of goes everywhere. If you've never played before, I would recommend it. Get Xenos or demonic creatures. Oh god, I love Warhammer text sometimes. I feel this game has nailed the style of Warhammer. Then we've got Fortress Worlds, which are basically, I think, I can be wrong here, my Warhammer knowledge, while better than last time I streamed a Warhammer game, is still very sporadic. But I don't know if it counted as a Death World, but I think a Fortress World might count Cadia, which broke before the Guardsmen. If you want to focus on your guns, Fortress World's a really good choice. I'm actually going to go with Voidborn. The reason, I'll talk about the deeper reason why, but like some of the features and the talents caught my eye. The feature Fortune. They can re-roll any failed check with a 20% chance of success. This is from any dodge, parry, characteristic, or skill test. Initiate any enemy dodge or parry against the Voidborn also can be re-rolled. Then Bloody Mess. At any time a Voidborn scores a critical hit, there's a 10% chance to double damage. It is just wild magic, the character. You don't know what the fuck is going to happen. And Contagious Luck. Next, now we have Origin. So Homeworld is kind of like how our character grew up. So it's the things, like, you know, the different lifestyles of the Imperium. Your Origin is what your character has done in life. An example would be, we got a couple of different ones here. We've got the Astra Militarum Commander, which is the lowly guardsmen with their humble las rifles, where they just shell up goddamn planet. They have so much artillery shells. One of my favorite posts I've ever seen involving guardsmen was, well, there are two posts I love for guardsmen. One is the depiction of the Krieger guardsman, which is, we are going to fire all these shells here, and then you will stop to allow the bayonet charge. Who said anything about stopping? I was given all these shells. I'm going to use them all. The other one was, there's a picture of a planet that has a guardsman population that is so high, it's like, I believe in like the trillions, where the only way that it exists is all the guards had to be moving at the exact same time. But if you look also at the corner, it says orc population. Tiny. But yeah, Astra Militarum is the humble guardsman. The Commissar. Commissars are dicks. Commissars are kind of in charge of the morale of the guardsmen, and a famous thing from 40k when it comes to the Commissar is that they will shoot a guardsman to set an example. Unless they are from a death world, in particular Catachan and Krieg, where their commissars keep fucking dying because of showing cowardice, or for Catachans because they try to order them around. Crime Lord is, well, it's just a crime lord. You've been on the streets for a while. It's kind of it's got a +5 to weapon skill, which is if you think weapon skills, just weapons in general, weapon skills more onto the melee side. So, chain swords, axes, and so on. It kind of just goes everywhere. It's an int-based class, really. It's not a bad class. It can kind of go in a couple different directions depending on what archetype you decide to play. Ministorum Priest. You are part of the Ecclesiarchy. You're a support class. Also, fun fact, Commissar is a support class in this game. Or a support origin. Wait, no, I was in a Ministorum. Ministorum's also another support. It's all... To explain really quick how the origins work, you have the features, and then you've got, if you go to the bottom, talents. The talents all kind of add to the feature as you go, so your feature is going to get more powerful. Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, you're all about just healing the party and keeping them going. But also, you can, depending on your archetype, here's the thing. Unlike D&D and Pathfinder, where you need to multi-class, you want to do two things. Like, for example, using the FFD20 system that I've become very familiar with during my campaign, The Dragon Hunt, returning this Friday. If you're on the YouTube side, it will have already been streamed. It'll be coming out Sunday. But, back to what I was saying, though. With those games, though, if you wanted to say... don't know, there was a class like the Red Mage, but if you wanted to, say, specialize in guns and sorcery, you would do, like, a multi-class of Black Mage and Gunbreaker. That's not needed in this game because of the archetype and origin system. The feat's ability, like, the feat will always get more powerful with as you level up the origin, but the archetype is different. The Imperial Officer, which is, I believe, more geared for tanks. It can do some decent DPS if you're willing to put in the work. The Noble. Another kind of support class. It's more focused on, you, like, supporting and buffing a designated servant. But the one we'll be playing... Oh, they actually changed the outfit. Ooh, I really like this outfit for it. The Sanctioned Psyker. Psykers are your mages of 40k, and for those who don't understand 40k magic, I know, like, I'm saying the first 17 minutes here explains a lot of Warhammer stuff. There's a lot of stuff to go over. And I apologize for that. Psykers are the weird wizard... They commune with demons. Okay, to explain how they work, Magic of 40k is that the Psyker, or at least that's what humans call them. Every race in 40k has a kind of a different name for the Psyker. Again, humans call them Psykers. Orcs call them, I believe, Weird Boys. And I could not tell you what the Eldar or the Tau call them. The Tyranids just call them food. I don't know if I'll get to talk about Tyranids, so I don't mind talking about that there. I hope I don't get to talk about Tyranids because I kind of find Tyranids a little boring. I'll be honest, okay, up front, races I would love to talk about, things I'd love to talk about over the course of this game, but I don't know if I'm going to encounter them. On the Xeno side, I would love to talk about orcs, because orcs are fucking hysterical. On the Forces of Chaos, I kind of think I'd like to say a couple different factions of Chaos. One in particular is I would like to talk about Alpha Legion, but I don't think they're appearing in this game. But back to the Psykers thing, though. So Psykers channel, instead of having a mana bar, they channel energy from what's called the Warp. Now, the Warp used to be a pretty good place, but then there was a lot of death and everything, and then demons appeared. The Warp is the collective unconscious, and because the world of 40k is so fucked up, the Warp has become this horrifying nightmare. It was so bad that there are these things called warp storms that prevent intergalactic travel. They lasted forever until a hole ripped in the universe when the fourth chaos god, Slanesh, was, for lack of a better term, murder-fucked into existence. Yeah, I will talk about the chaos gods later, because that's some heresy. But yeah, we're going to be playing Sanctioned Psyker. And from there, Sanctioned Psykers can go down. To explain what a Sanctioned Psyker is, there are two types of Psykers in 40k. There are Sanctioned and Unsanctioned. Sanctioned means you're actually approved to be a Psyker by the Imperium of Man. Unsanctioned means you've been practicing in your basement and that they will come and kill you. The most powerful human Psyker is Big E, or the Emperor, currently sitting on the golden toilet after he died after fucking Horus fought him in combat, and he killed Horus, but golden toilet, as it's lovingly called. Talk about the breakdowns for the Sanctioned Psyker, because here's the thing, Sanctioned Psyker could go a lot of different ways depending on what you want to focus on. There's the Biomancer. You're basically focused more on buffing the team. It's more for physical buffs, including like Iron Arm here, which is more focused to increasing strength and toughness. You have a little bit more health, and you'll actually have more strength, meaning you're going to hit harder with your axes, swords, or whatever. Diviners are... You will be getting a Diviner during the main story. They're more about like analyzing and debuffing, as well as providing some buffs. This is, as far as I can tell, where all the others are kind of like messing with the warp, this is you are directly commuting with the God Emperor of mankind. To anyone who does know who Big E or the God Emperor is, Big E, I kind of tend to refer to it both because a lot of my Warhammer knowledge comes from the series If the Emperor Had Text-to-Speech Device, which is a little bit of memes, a little bit of truth, a little bit of shit posting. So my knowledge on Warhammer is kind of all over the place. And a little bit from Adeptus Ridiculous, who kind of does the same thing. But, Big E, God Emperor of Mankind, is the... If you ever see any pictures of the skeleton on a throne with a bunch of tubes going into it, that is the Emperor. He is the pinnacle of humanity, and after he was killed during the Horus Heresy, which I am not going to explain the fucking Horus Heresy in detail, long story short, boy Horus went back, got kind of dumped a little too much into chaos, took a bunch of his brothers, turned traitor, decided to try to overthrow Big E, and died in the process, but put Big E on the Golden Throne. And shit has been fucked ever since. So yeah, this class directly communicates with it to Big E to stave off demons. It's basically, you are designed to support your party and kill demons. Which, I am going to... Okay, there's a nice thing to talk about with Psyker's abilities, and we'll talk about it later, but I'm keeping that one in mind. Then there's Telepath, which is basically the exact opposite, which is, instead of damaging and buffing, this is damaging and debuffing. I'm going to start with Pyromancer, because fire! I like fire! Also, this is the only one not available during the during the beta test, so I'm excited. So triumphs here, these are gonna give us a +5. These are, all the triumphs are determined by your origin. I am going to take lore towards Xenos +5. And then there's your darkest hour. This is something you fucked up in, and you will be taking, Yeah, no, I delved too deep into the lore. Let's go. They're mostly, from my understanding, for roleplays. It's a positive and a negative. I like it. I like the system. In terms of the overall character creation system, I love this system and how versatile it is. Especially coming off of, like, D&D and Pathfinder with the recently released Baldur's Gate 3 and Owlcat's other game, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. To talk about my opinion on those two games really quick, I think both are perfectly fine. I think all these games are great. I think there's a little too much junk loot in Baldur's Gate 3 in my opinion. It feels a little too Skyrim-y in that regard. Like, seriously, God, the amount of containers in that game. Wrath is just a brutal dick punch of an experience. Like, Wrath on core is, well, Wrath on the hardest difficulty is you better know how to fucking min-max, or you will just quit. What I do like about these games is the adjustable difficulty, though. The fact that it's not just like, oh, I just have easy, medium, hard, blah, blah, blah. It's the fact that you can customize your difficulty. There's a lot going on. But now for the archetypes. These are our packages. So, Homeworld is our character's upbringing. Origin is our training, or like, you know, our job, what we did. Archetype is our skill set. So archetype can be considered your class. Warrior, you are focused on being a melee bruiser. You're going to be in that front line. You're going to be hitting shit with an axe or a sword. Officer is all built around support. Your key features are bringing... Yeah, I'm going to click on and talk about each of them. With Warrior, one of your keystone features is charge, where you just are going to be able to close the distance, and if you get close enough, get a second hit off with your melee weapon. There's a lot of nice stuff you can do with it. The ultimate abilities we'll talk about later, because that talks about a completely different system related to gameplay. Officer is quite possibly the best starting support class, from my understanding. I've not played Officer, but on high difficulties, you do want to get an Officer because of the fact that they are focused on supporting the party, organizing shots, and can even get extra turns to the party. It's also completely built around the momentum system. We'll talk about that later. Operative is about analyzing the enemies and debuffing them. It's the debuff class. If you put Operative with a form of Psyker, you get some really good stuff. You get 2 Operatives, because here's the thing. They said, you're going to get a lot of people with different... Over the course of the game, we're going to get a lot of people with different homeworlds, origins, and different... what was it? Different homeworlds and different origins. Different homeworlds and origins because I can focus, but no. A couple of the characters you'll meet in the beginning, I believe you'll get a warrior who is an Astra Militarum, I'd like to say. You'll get a couple who aren't available to choose, and I'll talk about them as we go, but you'll get a soldier. Soldiers are really, is the one we're actually going to be playing. There are 2 operatives you're going to be getting, and one is a psyker, but of a different tree than I'm going down, and then the other special, and I'll talk about him later. But we will be going, as I said, soldier. Soldier's all about gun, and I like gun. And this is the thing I really like about this game. You could play... Say you really like using guns. Then you could go with a different origin and a different homeworld. And you'll have a different combat experience. Yes, you'll still be using guns, but your stats will be different. It won't be vastly different, but... I'm going to be doing a lot of, like, weird psychic shit on top of shooting a las gun or a bolt gun. Whatever the fuck I want to use. In terms of the trees down here, these are your prestige classes. As you can see, there are 3 lines connecting from each class, because they are not available to every class. For example, you can't be a soldier assassin, but you could go from warrior to assassin or operative to assassin. They each do different things. The standard assassin here is you wouldn't want a soldier assassin because assassin's all about melee damage. Vanguard's the tank. Bounty hunter is assassin but with guns. Master tactician and grand strategist are okay. Master tactician is about supporting the party. Grand strategist is all about controlling the battlefield and is, from what there's someone who had access to this earlier than me. I had beta access, or someone who had early access to the full game. I can't remember his YouTube channel, but he gave a full breakdown of these classes. And Grand Strategist is the hardest thing to learn, but if you can master it, you are going to be the deadliest motherfucker on the battlefield. And Arch Militant is kind of the jack of all trades. If you can't decide between melee or range, go Arch Militant. It supports both. Exemplar is going to be different depending on what your previous two classes are. Because as you see, everything Exemplar is the only thing at level 36. It is, I would describe it kind of like the legend the legend path from Wrath of the Righteous, but not exactly. To explain, when you get to Exemplar, all of your level ups are going to be taking abilities. You're going to be getting a bunch of skill increases, but then you're going to be getting a bunch of feats from every class you had already taken leading up to it. So, for example, if I played a soldier bounty hunter, reached Exemplar, I would have a different level up, different set of available traits than someone who went warrior vanguard. You are the exemplar of your classes. And finally, now that all the talking is done, let's talk about skills. Oh boy, skills. So yeah, this is your skill sheet. You may notice if you're used to Pathfinder or D&D, these numbers are pretty fucking high. So to explain why they are so high, Rogue Trader does not use a D20 system. You may have noticed that some of the traits, some of the numbers it was giving us were percentages. I believe Rogue Trader is a D100 system. Which, to those who don't understand the difference between a D20 and D100 system, it's the main die you use. If you've ever seen anyone play D&D, you know it's the big 20-sided die. D100 is a sphere. It is a ball. And yeah, that's really all I can say. These numbers are going to get bigger than a lot of other games you're used to, if you've only played those two systems. So, I am going to be focusing willpower and then ballistic skills. Willpower is related to, breaking these all down, weapon skill, as I mentioned earlier, is melee focus. Ballistic is guns. Strength is related to how physically strong you are. It is another thing for melee. Toughness is how much damage you can take. Agility is going to affect your dodge rate, in particular dodging guns. And there's also a chance to dodge melee, but we'll talk about that later. Melee is kind of... Here's the thing. I want to use guns just because I love the guns of 40k, but fighting in melee in this game is also really good. If you could build a really good tank melee fighter, you're going to be dishing out a lot of damage. Int is your reason, knowledge, and related things. Breakdown lore, you got Imperium, Warp, and Xenos. So Imperium is just your general knowledge about the Empire of Mankind. The Warp is all your freaky, weird, chaos, heretical demon shit. Xenos are things like the Eldar, the Tyranids, and the Orcs. Perception... No, I'm gonna lower my ballistic skill one. Actually, no, I don't need strength. I could take it as a lower. Perception is your ability to spot traps and also other hidden shit. Willpower is useful for warp psychers because there are downsides to using your abilities as a psyker. And then fellowship is things like persuasion, coercion. It's basically your communication skills. You can also customize your void ship. There are two versions you can get from different packs. If you were an early game supporter, you could actually get depending on what package you picked up, if you were an early supporter, but they are still available to buy on Steam. There are no, I believe there are some minor differences between them, but it's mostly for roleplay for the differences. And you can even name your ship. So if you like do the roll, you're gonna get like things like, as you can see, Unforgiven, Daring Destiny, Destiny Hunter, Mercy of the Stars. So hey, let's go with Apex Predator. I was gonna name it something funny like Toaster Fucker, but I'm not AdMech, so yeah. And you can also roll it to get a bunch of different names. We're gonna go with Avi. With that, 36 minutes in, we're done character creation. I mean, I had a lot to explain. I mean, either way, like, this video going up, if you're, like, on the fence about getting Rogue Trader, I hope this this stream is gonna kind of be, like, a deciding factor if you want to or not. If people want to see me play through completely, ooh. Oh, that's so much nicer. Got the servitors.
An excellent place for contemplation. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity.
Okay, so before we continue, I want to talk about some of the void ships. As you can see, like, this ship is like a massive cathedral. The Imperium of Man has a lot of like bigotry and religious undertones. I say undertones, it's after the Emperor was put on the golden toilet, mankind became very paranoid and super zealotous. Like, things like the Inquisition came back. He was not going to be called the Holy God Emperor. That was after he was put on the golden throne. He would weep at the way that mankind treats him now.
That is the purpose of all temples to the God Emperor, to inspire awe and reverence. For it is the duty of his servants to persevere in their tireless service until they are presented with the chance to give their very life for the master of humanity. Allow me to introduce myself. Conrad Voigtveer, Master of Whispers, in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencius, at your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before.
I'm gonna play the fact I'm a psyker a little close, because psykers aren't exactly the most liked members of the Imperium.
My regards, mistress. Or should I say, von Valencius, scion of a blessed rogue trader house in the service of the Imperium. Perhaps this kinship came as a shock to you, understandably so, given that all evidence of the connection was lost in the generations separating you and Lord Captain Theodora. It required no small effort on the part of Her Ladyship's servants to discover and verify this blood tie, which has now made you one of the heirs of this dynasty,
So, okay, let's talk about rogue traders. Rogue traders are super fucking rich. They own fucking planets. So that is going to play a role on our economy. We'll talk about the economy later.
There is. And you will meet him soon enough. But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had an opportunity to speak. It has been an arduous voyage thus far. The Lord's Captain and Master Ethelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there.
Okay, so talking about, again, this is CRPG. I don't think I need to explain what a CRPG works or how they play right now, especially with the success of Baldur's Gate 3. Like, Baldur's Gate 3, I think, pretty much is going to be the standard for a lot of people. Alcat, I'll be honest, Alcat does not have as big of a budget as Baldur's Gate 3 did. They did not have as much dev time in this game as, again, Baldur's Gate 3. But they are still...
Perhaps you would like to take a look around.
Oh my god, this is so much better than the beta. So good.
What's happening? Run! The servitors have gone berserk!
Oh, this is different than the beta. In the beta, a wild beast got loose. But here, our AdMech boys, some of their servitors have lost control. You may notice something about the servitors, so, okay, let's quickly talk about servitors. So, servitors are, of course, as I mentioned, they're AdMech. When you die in 40k, there's a chance you might not stay dead. You might get lobotomized and turned into a robot because artificial intelligence is illegal. And no, nothing I said is made up. That is entirely canon to 40k. Oh, shit! Yeah, so all battles are turn-based. On the left-hand side, as you can see, is our movement points. And then I have my ammo. Let's see here. You can queue an action and a move after your movement. So let's see here. Let's open up with our Psyker powers. Talking really quick something else with the Psyker abilities. Every time you use a Psyker ability, you're going to have an increase in Val degradation. This is basically because Psyker abilities are affecting the fabric of reality. The walls get thinner, you get them too thin, and demons can start spawning. Then Run and Gun is the unique ability of me being a soldier, which after I use Run and Gun, I'm able to shoot again. You're only able to use either a feature or one shot, but certain abilities will let you get extra attacks in. I mentioned Charge lets you do this with melee attacks. Our crew friends here are using the humble las pistol.
What suspiciously poor timing
He
for
burned
such
to
an
death.
accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. I have blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plan.
I'd like to say that this performance is a little too over the top, but that's 40k. 40k is entirely over the top.
I'm afraid I must remain here. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you will have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of this corridor.
It says something about the start, because comparing this start to the start of, Pathfinder. Pathfinder starts with a festival that then proceeds to get overrun with demons. In particular, the Lord of Locusts. So, talk about our characters here. We have our crew officers, but in particular, if you ever see a character in the red robes like this, they are the tech priests. So, like I said, I'm not going to delve too far into the lore, but from my understanding, they don't understand how their technology works anymore. They are convinced it is because of machine spirits and holy oils and all kinds of other crazy shit. Like, a joke I saw someone say for the ad mech is, you have to spread the sacred oil and then push to the point of breaking the sacred seal of power, which just is, you have to press the power button really fucking hard. Like, they are overly zealous about technology. There's a robot horse. One guy figured out how to turn them on. No one else knows how to turn them off, so they're afraid. Turn them on, so they're afraid to turn them off, so they just run rampant in this pen when they're not needed. Gonna survey the room while we wait. No, they're in a conversation. It'd be rude to interrupt. So yeah, as you go through conversations, you will have you'll have checks. These checks will not appear unless you succeed in them. So, for example, we passed the lore Xenos and the lore Warp checks. We have the generic choices down here, but we're gonna go with one of our lore checks as we passed them. From Lord Xenos, we could tell him those spirits could well be natives named for dangerous aliens. But first verify if that is indeed the case, and if the population of Ion 6 engages in Xeno worship. And there are ways to confirm whether what is happening on Ion 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us some answers. Are you a psyker? I'm assuming he's either a psyker or a noble based on the robe. A rogue trader and the service of the god emperor. So yeah, the way that a rogue trader works is they all have warrants of trade. These are, I think these are from the god emperor himself. We have one, well, Theodora here has one aboard this very ship, and with it, it gives her the honor to venture beyond the darkness of the Imperium and carry humanity's light where power's wicked and heretical reign. Because there are, okay, humanity spread out across the stars, but then there was what was the Dark Age. The Dark Age of technology happened because of the warp storms I mentioned earlier. During that time, humanity became separated, and, well, all kinds of shit happened. Some planets are worshipping different things, the Kriegers happened, and 13 a bunch of leaders rose up on a bunch of different planets. They were called the Primarchs. They are the children of the God Emperor, and they are also the leaders of the Space Marine Legions. Talk about them later, because I know for a fact the Space Marine is a character in this game. And I know that there's going to be a Chaos Space Marine faction. I will not talk about all the legions, because all of them don't exist. 2 of them are unknown still to this very day, and it's pretty much been accepted that we will never know who the fuck they were. But a couple of them are weird and confusing and have a lot of detail. Like, again, I mentioned earlier, Alpha Legion. Yeah, we're trying, as Rogue Tree, we're trying to find resources, people, riches, and mysteries. Ooh. So yeah, to talk about space travel and how dangerous it is in 40K, I mentioned the warp earlier. That's how you, like, here's the thing. Every sci-fi series has different FTL systems. There's just your standard FTL of, say, Stargate, Star Trek, or even Star Wars. Though Star Wars has hyperspace, which is slightly different. Halo has slip space, which is just compressing space and is a whole other mess. Warhammer, you rip a hole to another dimension, which is the warp. There are demons and shit. You do not travel through the warp without what's called a Galler field, unless you really want to get to know those demons. I got no more questions. I know what I'm supposed to do here now. And you're made aware of the incident. Oh? we welcome our first introduction of heretics. So heretics, as the name implies, are, well, they worship the chaos gods. There are 5 different flavors of chaos. One is chaos undivided. You basically will worship all the chaos gods. Also, this game has a cover system because guns. Also, before I talk about the chaos gods, let's talk about melee. Guns have a chance of missing whenever you take the shot. Melee is almost always guaranteed to hit, but if it's another melee fighter, it has to be against their parry or dodge stat. And if you are brought into melee, then you're going to have a really bad time if you're a gun user and you don't have a close range weapon equipped like a melee weapon or a shotgun. Because you cannot fire a gun if you're engaged in melee combat. But back to the flavors of chaos while it is the enemy's turn. So the flavors of chaos are, as I mentioned, chaos undivided. You worship the 4 chaos gods equally. Examples of these are with the traitor factions, the word bearers, and the Iron Warriors, I like to say their name is. There's a couple, I think there's a couple others, but they're the more notable. Word bearers, because they believe all 4 equally are true gods. Meanwhile, Iron Warriors are just fuck you. They don't like them, they just hate everyone else. I don't have enough AP. But, with the other ones, though, we have Corn. Corn's the most notable for a lot of people because Corn... I forgot she has a plasma pistol. Corn's phrase for his worshippers is something that anyone who's ever even delved a tiny bit into Warhammer has heard of, and that is blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throw. He is your Satan warrior god. He was just about murder, kill, kill, kill. But Corn's also honorable. Corn will never stab you in the back. He will only stab you in the face. His notable legion is, I believe it is the World Eaters, or who are just pure fucking anger. Their leader is named Angron. Also, Corn's a really good father figure to Angron. Down the list now, we have Nurgle. Nurgle's kind of saying among the Warhammer community is Papa Nurgle loves you, because Nurgle is stagnation. Nurgle isn't about change. He's about consistency, nature, and all that shit. But it's also death and pestilence and rot. He loves you the way you are, including rotting. His group is the Death Guard. For a more notable look on Death Guard, I recommend the game Chaos Gate, where you'll be heavily encountering Nurgle's Chaos Marines. Third on the list is Tzeentch. Tzeentch is a manipulative plotter on the good side. He's about creativity, and, you know, while he might support the plot to kill someone, he'll also support the plot to stop the person from killing someone. Tzeentch's whole thing is just that infinite bullshit of, but what is a question, and what is this, and what is that, and what if we all just go into an inevitable thing of constantly asking what is this and what is that, until we inevitably reach the state of hyperdeath. That is Tzeentch. He's a little shit. His notable faction is the Thousand Sons, with Magnus the Red, who, depending on who you ask, did nothing wrong or did a lot wrong. It all depends on who you ask. Fuck Chorus. Also on this list is the fourth one. And the fourth one is Slaanesh. Slaanesh was the Chaos God who was murder fucked into existence. Slanesh is basically on the good side. Slanesh is joy and expression and stuff. On the opposite side is Slanesh is. I can't talk about Slanesh in a. So talk about Slanesh in a PG setting is really fucking hard. Actually, no, we're an hour in. Okay, I'll talk about Slanesh. Slanesh is super sexual. Slanesh doesn't make sense, and that's the point of Slanesh. Like, Slanesh will do whatever the fuck to mess with you, and to give you an idea, if you listen to music ever, like, okay, Slanesh's Space Marine faction is the Emperor's Children, and yes, as part of the joke, they know what the fuck they're doing. They use guns called noise blasters. They will literally kill you by playing very loud music. They are disturbing as fuck. Slanesh is disturbing. Because you go to Khorne, it's gonna be a lot of violence and murder and kill. You go to Nurgle, you're gonna see some weird shit because it's a lot of rotting shit and disgusting. Tzeentch is more like your typical Eldritch. If you're used to Cthulhu, you're used to Tzeentch. It's not that much of a jump. Slanesh is just hypersexual. And I do need to stress Slanesh's existence because I know, because of all the stuff we had announced for this game, the Dark Eldar are a thing, and they are heavily tied into Slanesh. And that means I'm going to be heavily talking about Slanesh. So, while we go, fun fact, well, not even a fun fact, but an interesting little thing to talk about. So, Warhammer 40k has become a little bit more of a talking point in recent years. Like, a lot of people have been talking about, for example, celebrities who play 40k. An example is Henry Cavill, who is currently on, from my understanding, in the works with Amazon on a 40k series. So yeah, that is a thing. From what he said, he used to play kind of like a different hodgepodge groups. Now he plays Custodes. Another example is Robin Williams played. He played Dark Eldar, which is kind of surprising, to be honest. What's up, man? You're alive still. Yeah, why would you mutiny in the warp? It's a terrible place to mutiny because the Galler field goes down, we're all fucked. Unless you're a heretic. Yeah, no, if we are... Okay, so he is a psyker. So if... Yes, okay, while we are in the warp and this is all going down, it is a very bad spot for psykers. Because psykers become very unstable. In the world of Warhammer, if you are not in charge, do not question shit, or you could end up getting a bullet in your head. You gotta be very careful. Wait, what? Oh, you bitch! Fucking heretic. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of, like... It's a 40k game. There's gonna be a lot of stuff. Like, every race has some kind of insult against each other. Orcs are greenskins, but orcs kind of... Look, there's only 2 groups always happy in the state of the galaxy of 40k. The orcs, because they love fighting. That's where the big fight is. That's where the orcs is going to go. They speak with a weird Cockney accent. They're fun. I love orcs.
Careful, careful. Be gentle with our guest.
Oh, you
She has an important mission to complete during our visit to the Warren Chamber, and for that, I need her breathing. Oh, you are back with us, I see. Delightful. You must have hit your head harder than I thought. No matter. Very little is required of you. Just your blood, which you can either share of your own volition, or I will spill it for you. We are in the anteroom of the Warren Chamber, this void ship's most hallowed vault. There, beyond those gates, lies the relic that gives Theodora all of her power. The sacred Warrant of Trade.
He rambles on.
Only one obstacle remains on my path to obtaining it. The gates of the chamber are guarded by the Sentinel, an ancient device that will only open the door to a true heir of the dynasty. I expected to do this part myself, but never mind. You will offer your blood to the Sentinel.
As fast as I used to be. It's our psychic powers. Oh, fuck off. I believe no matter what, you're always gonna end up here. Okay, let's make an attempt. Woo! So this type of cogitator here is, I believe it, I don't know if it still has it. I forget what dialogue choice gave it to me. It has a form of archaeotech. Archaeotech is a really old tech from the golden age of humanity. An example is artificial intelligence, but artificial intelligence, as I said, is illegal. There is currently one, we think it's artificial intelligence, though if you ask if it's an AI, it'll always tell you no. Which has confused the ever-living shit out of Gilliman of the Ultramarines.
High levels of caustic humors. The subject is in a state of heightened stress. Do you require assistance? Genetic code identified. Child of House von Valancius. Do you require assistance? Request accepted. Initiating defense protocol.
So yeah, this was this important. Of course there'd be some defenses. Oh! Turret! 40k.
There is still another way.
This is the great trade warrant that gives us the ability to say, it gives the holder the ability to say they are a rogue trader.
Escort the child of the house to safety. Distance from the current location to the nearest arsenal. Initiating situational calculations. Voxcast frequencies disrupted. Initiating setup. Establishing connection. Communication protocols breached. Signal latency assessment unavailable. Unable to establish two-way connection. Temporary obnubilation following acute stress. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel standing by. Mobile unit of the Warrant Sentinel designed as a personal escort of the child of the house and a means of communicating with the rogue trader's subjects. Mobile unit standing by. Middle and upper decks.
Thank you
Assuming
for
the
helping
probability
me,
of
a
safe
floating human
placement in
skull.
areas of concentration of armed units. Calculating. To prevent unauthorized units from breaching the warrant chamber, preemptive sealing must be initiated. The mobile unit will start executing the received order immediately after the safety of the warrant is secured.
So yeah, the main thing for this thing is that warrant stays safe. Because I do not believe another warrant is allowed to be given out, because I think they are only given out by God Emperor himself. And with Big E on the throne, yeah.
Mistress? What? Whatever are you doing in the warrant chamber? How did you... Throne preserve me. What is the meaning of this? What? Oh, holy God, Emperor. I presume he is the one responsible for the mutiny. And, Mistress, I wish to remind you that you are to refer to the Lord Captain as Lady Theodora. Saints' blood! Then it is small wonder that the heretics are so well organized. I thought his order to seal the passages between decks was his attempt to stop the attackers from spreading to other levels. But now I see the real reason. It was to stop the enforcers from intervening. At least you are alive, and now safe, Mistress. Alas, I doubt we can afford to look for a compartment to sit out this disaster. You're in a bad way. I can treat your wounds. I have a Medicaid kit. And, for the love of the throne, now is not a good time to be walking around the decks without means of self-defense. Here.
So let's talk about our different equipment. So there are a bunch of different weapons that we'll be attaining over the course of the game. In terms of our chestplate, this is the standard flak chestplate of the Astra Militarum. As spell failure chance is not a thing in this game to wear any armor you want. There are benefits for wearing heavy, medium, and light armor. Each are different. The Humble Lasgun. The Humble Lasgun is the standard rifle of the Imperial Guardsmen. Lots of ammo, as you can see, 40 max ammo, decent range. Never have to worry about jamming, but against normal people, it's really fucking good. 40k does not have normal people. The Chaos Space Marines will shrug these things off unless there's a lot of them focused. They are often called flashlights because they are so bad. But the humble las rifle is still very important to the Empire. We cannot equip the Medicaid care on ourselves right now, just because story purposes. So we need to... There we go. Did they... No, there. Yeah, they did.
That is a noticeable improvement. Now you're prepared for the trials ahead. The lower decks are teeming with heretics instigating the rabble to revolt. But that is the least of our problems. The ship's enforcers are rounding up the scoundrels and suppressing the resistance. The situation on the middle decks is much worse, although strike teams have already been dispatched there. All communication with the bridge and the engineering bay was lost. So, apart from scattered voxcasts, we have no information to go on. But that is not the worst of it. All these jolts and shaking are most alarming. These are signs that the navigator and the master helmsman are having difficulty translating the ship out of the war and into real space. I fear that they may have already lost control. We must reach the navigator's sanctum and get a handle on the situation. If we can manage that, some aboard this vessel may yet survive. Absolutely. Let us proceed. The Lord Captain is calling her crew to battle, which means the Vox networks are set up for broadcast transmission, not message exchange. Splendid. While the rogue trader inspires proper resolve to fight in her subjects, you and I shall prove that her trust in us is well deserved. Onward!
I like whoever's doing the voice for the heretics. It kind of reminds me of the orc war boss from Space Marine, but just without the accent. It's very guttural, which is always how I expect the heretics to sound. So something about this game that I really do like. At the start of battle, you'll be able to move your characters around. So as long as it's in a green area, you can set them for a starting spot for battle. And I messed up a little bit in how I'm supposed to go, but Oh, they are all aggroing on me. So also, now that we have a las rifle as opposed to just a pistol, talk about the las rifle, we have single shot, but then we also have burst fire. So burst fire allows us to shoot multiple times and can deal a lot of damage. But it also isn't the most accurate thing in the world. Melee is, as I said, you're going to be up close and personal with the enemies. And if an enemy tries to move, it works just like D&D or Pathfinder. If the enemy tries to move while in your range, you can initiate an attack of opportunity. Also, you do need to be careful. Friendly fire is a thing in this game. Fuck! Oh, that's not good. So yeah, because I'm close range to the heretic cutthroat, I will not be able to use my guns. but I can attempt to use my psychic powers, but still provoke an attack of opportunity. For that, we got a level up. You're going to be leveling up a lot faster than in games like Wrath of the Righteous or Baldur's Gate. Let's see here, our available skills. Let's see here. I am going to increase my awareness. Okay, so, okay, I could see. In the beta build, the first one actually had a talent, but I see they've changed it for this one. Talents are going to be things like, things to increase your special ability, but, you can also use it to get a... Ooh, do I already have bolt weapon training? I don't know what I'm trained in completely yet. We'll find out. But, that's also how you're going to gain access to higher level Psyker spells. Now for the main thing of this game. Loot! Okay, so anything on the left on the right side is goes to my inventory. Anything on the left side will go to cargo. So for example, I do not need all these swords. So let's move any sword I don't need over to the trophy. And I'll keep this las pistol. The trophies were all sent to cargo. Cargo is going to be imported later. I will explain it later. I tend to have one... So the way I also tend to carry my character is one set is built for long-range combat. The other set will be close range. The other thing to talk about is if you have not looted a body before you leave an area, it will give you a menu to loot everything. This is all pretty much straightforward for this tutorial.
The navigator sector directly along the passage.
Got some nice purple strands of the warp, so back to the weird warpy shit.
And so she will enter the halls of the blinded guide and witness the radiance of the final dawn through the cracks and fall victim to a whim of fate.
Ah, good. Psyker shit.
Mistress, watch your head.
My fellow Psyker.
Idira, would it be too much to ask that you phrase your soothsayings plainly for once? That was too close.
Sorry, old man. The voices are so loud I can't even hear myself. They shriek, they sing, they... Oh, Abelard, how they sing!
So this is our Psyker. Because we were in the warp, they are even more insane than normal.
This is Idira Tlas, personal psyker and diviner of Her Ladyship Theodora von Valencius. Idira?
I'm not drunk, old man. I'm suffering the effects of the warp that is seeping through these walls. I see the ship's fate. To die in the waves of the immaterium, fall under the burning rays of the final dawn. And in the roaring blaze, I see a figure standing. Who is it? I have no answer. The voices from beyond the threshold whisper to me. Sometimes their murmurs are clear, they grant insight. Sometimes they drive me mad. But I am patient. I know how to listen and discern. But now, with this clamor around me, too many voices, too loud.
Makes sense.
And you, Von Valansis, are a sorcerer too. Just like the other one.
I did.
Lady Theodora must have grown so fond of psychers she once...
Oh, I did. Shit.
replace her.
My finger slipped.
That's Edelthrat. Oh, Emperor's Providence. The other heir lives as well. Quickly, we must head to...
Not so fast, old man. If we drown in the warp, Lady Theodora's heirs won't be any good to us. If Edelthrat's like me and hasn't yet surrendered his mind or body to the mercy of the warp, then he can still hold on a little longer without us.
Give it time, our heads will explode. That's how things tend to go here.
You're right. First, we need to deal with what is happening here.
The Whispers called me.
The Whispers?
The ones I could make out among all the
I would say I love her
screams
performance
and
as a psyker.
screeches. Those who are rocking this boat hit us where it hurt. They went after the Navigator, our guide through the warp. Other Whispers called me to the Engineerium, but it was too late. I heard the cry of our Master Cog, and the silence that followed.
What? You don't mean the Engineer Prime is...
Said, without a doubt. And the voices wail, heralding countless nightmares, cackling at each soul among the hundreds that are now joining the warp. The shriek from the Navigator's sanctum was louder than the rest. And it's better that we saved the Navigator than some lever puller from a cooling module or a cook from the middle decks. Oh no. No. Nothing is well about him. Can't you feel the chill crawling on your skin? The eyes watching you? The warp ice has already encased the bulkheads. What follows is calamity.
Okay.
But we're not just going to stand here
Average
and take
psyker.
it, are we? The state of things in here suggests there's a Navigator around. Maybe one who's crippled or at death's door, but still kicking. And since our skin hasn't peeled off our faces just yet, his third eye must be closed. At worst, it's a little roughed up. So what are we moping around for? Let's go protect
And
that
no, she does
noble
not
mutant while
mean
we're
like a
still
metaphorical third eye. It's, navigators actually have 3 eyes. To explain how navigation in the warp works, there's a thing, I believe it's called the Astronomicon, I believe it's called, which is just the Emperor, and the way it works is a navigator can see it, but it's hard to find, and if there's something with a big enough psychic presence, it can fuck them up. An example is the Tyranids. Tyranids have such a big psychic presence that they will eclipse anything they come into contact with. Because, like, psychers are used for long-distance communications across planets. There's a thing where if you cannot contact a planet, it is most likely being consumed by Tyranids. They review immediately because that was an enemy psyker. So talking about psyker, so Drya here is an operative as well as a psyker. So the operative abilities are things like analysis enemies. They will place marks on enemies and make them easier to hit or damage. It all depends on what level you are. But in terms of stats, in terms of psyker abilities, well, that's where things get kind of interesting. Actually, no, I think they changed it, actually. Hold on, let me check something. Oh, they changed that. Okay, yeah, no, so she's a divination and telepath. Okay, so I wasn't going crazy. They didn't change her. So she's got access to 2 different trees of psyker abilities. You can do this too, you just have to invest a talent slot, which is something I'm going to do eventually. In terms of abilities, stabs will give an alternate ability for the psyker, but as you can see, those abilities could end up filling a lot of the Veil Breach. The other thing to keep in mind is Friendly Fire also applies to psyker abilities. So this Chain Lightning can also hit your allies. Be careful. I have killed my party many a time with Chain Lightning. And it's the thing I already talked about the hologram. It's being able to see what you're going to do beforehand. Run and gun. And smack. I don't think that's our navigator friend anymore. The navigator is currently possessed by a demon. The navigator is dead. Black tears mixed with blood. Yeah, dying in the warp is not fun. It is a fate worse. It is a hell. Let's see here. We got a scrappy autogun. It is weaker than everything else I have. The axe, my sword is better. And I could take the staff. Actually, yes, I will take the staff, and I will replace my sword and las gun, las pistol with the staff. Because the benefit about using the sword and, the staff is I'll have access to some psyker abilities, but the downside is I would put more strain on the warp. Yeah, so now we have a warrior, a psyker. Look, there can't be anyone else crazier on this ship at this point. We got an insane psyker, A warrior with a chainsword, which, God, I want a chainsword. Yeah, no, don't worry. It's 40k, though. Things will always get crazier.
Ship's as good as ours. It's all over for you.
Time for the real danger.
Not your enemies. I shall heed not their pleas.
Somebody shoot these.
I shall betray not your tenets, nor stray one step from them. Take not your gaze from me. Leave me not without your grace.
I told you he would protect us.
My God, my light, my emperor.
May I introduce a Sister of Battle? Oh, if one word to describe the Sisters of Battle. Zealots. They are batshit insane, and, they have a penchant for fire.
Sister Argenta. Sister Argenta.
If you're right where the guard said he would protect us, they were talking about the god
we can muster.
because the sisters all act in his name.
Your face. It is unfamiliar. Who are you? The hour is dark and daunting. The ship abounds with corruption. The faces of friends who are twisted by smears of heresy. The eyes of comrades ignite with the archenemy's hunger. I will do what I must to halt the advance of the dark forces. But in these dire moments, little can be trusted. So I must know, why are you here?
Sister, I beg of you.
Oh, excuse me.
Now is not the time for interrogations. The ship is under attack by heretics. We've been betrayed by our esteemed Master of Whispers. Edelstrad the Heir is waiting for our aid, and Lord Captain Theodora is expecting a report on our success. We are here to deal with the situation, so I suggest we all do just that.
If you speak truthfully,
You are a Sister of Battle. You are not a member of His Holy God Emperor's Inquisition, so you should not be questioning me about this unless you are a member of the Inquisition. I know my Warhammer lore.
I cannot wait to rain righteous fire down upon each and every heretic.
Sister Argenta is a guest of the Lord Captain, and that story deserves its own time and conversation, under more appropriate circumstances.
Okay.
Enough idle chatter. I am where I must be, and that will suffice. Through this door, I shall join you, for it is my duty to the God Emperor to destroy this heresy.
We will follow. For now, we will hold off any heretics who might try to crawl in through the cracks to join the main assault. And we'll take a look at the generators while we're at it. Those villains made a mess of the cables. Oh, I wish we had a Tectomat with us. But we'll see what we can do without one.
Gotta be careful, you might piss off the machine spirits.
Good to hear it. Sister?
Ready. May Terra's light illuminate our path through fire and darkness.
Okay, so let's talk about our good old Sister of Battle. This time I want to test. So, she comes with an auto pistol, which is just, it fires normal guns. But she also comes with unfading valor. This Godwin patterned bolter. So, to those who are unaware of what the bolter is the most iconic gun of Warhammer 40k. Whenever you see that picture, you know, that blue space marine with that big-ass gun, that's a bolter. The bullets are rocket-propelled and are, from what I've heard them described as, the size of a Red Bull can. What I want to see is, I cannot use it. Is it because of training? Yeah, okay, so I don't have bolter weapon proficiency. We will fix that later. That actually might be one of the first things I grab, might be bolter weapon proficiency. Because I've used the bolters, and oh my god, they are so good. Actually, really quick talk about her class. About our, Sister of Battle. Huh. That's actually kind of interesting. So, as you can see, everyone has, where our rogue trader is sort of dead center in all the alignment for all these. A bunch of our allies are actually somewhere on this alignment. So, like, we've got the Iconoclast, which is believe in the value of human life and freedom. Then we have Heretical, which is you worship a chaos god. Or Dogmatic, which is the God Emperor. So with our 3 starting characters here, outside the Rogue Trader, our 3 characters all fall in an alignment. So, Albert here is on the Iconoclast. Idira is unsurprisingly heretical. And unsurprisingly, Argetia is actually further along, and she's dogmatic. Which makes sense, because she's the Sister of Battle, and they are special. No. Okay, wait, what? Okay, wait, how do I do that? Ah, fuck it. Let's get around looting everything. Let's see, we got, ooh, well-maintained las gun, nice. Various things I could sell. Yeah, the trophies, well, not sell, okay. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, let's equip the well-maintained las gun, because it is going to be better than the standard las gun. The danger about having the 2 psychers is... I am really going to be tearing through and possibly summoning a lot of demons. Battle there, you there. Well, actually, Idira has a melee weapon, so you're gonna go there. You're gonna go there, Albert, and I will go here. Yeah, so as a so Argenta is the same archetype as us. So she's, of course, got access to run and gun. But she also, as a member of the Adeptus Sororitas, basically would have the, for origin, has the Adeptus, or the Administratum. So she's got the battle hymns, but she's got her own variants. Also, I gotta say, I love the sound for the bolt guns. The bolt gun, as I said, is the weapon of the Space Marine. And as you can see, it hits hard. It is very likely to pierce. Oh, cute, they got reinforcements. This game's gonna be a lot more about maintaining a front line than any of the other games we've played. I haven't used any psychic shit. Yeah, I'm not hitting you. I'll set you on fire with my mind! Let them come to me. God, I love bolters. Okay, I think I made a good choice, though, for damage numbers going with Pyromancy. Fuck! Oh, I did not mean to hit this. Yeah, none of these are any good. I have the highest logic out of anyone in my party. Let's see what we've got. Okay, a couple more trophies. These are going to be very useful, so I want to get as many of these goods as I can. Okay, so in here we've got Operator Gloves, which is just a passive accessory. Melta Charges. So, Melta Charges are one of the items that will increase our odds of being able to open something. So Melta Charges will increase the demolition skill. There is something that will, oh, I forget what the item is, but I believe it's something to do with the Machine God for the tech uses. The Machine God for those, yeah, here it is, Machine Raid Ritual. Those unaware of what I mean by Machine Gods. I mentioned the Tech Priests. The Tech Priests worship their, well, yes, this is some, if you, for the uneducated, this might seem as a form of heresy contradiction. They do not worship the Emperor. They worship the Omnissiah, which is kind of the Emperor. It's confusing. Oh, yes, please. So, as I mentioned earlier, you can't use, guns in close-range combat. The exception is shotgun-like weapons. I think it is, you could tell by the range. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else in here for me to do? I think that's just an investigate. Yep, there's some more stuff for me to loot. Loot everything! You will need the money. Well, the supplies. This game is not as brutal as Wrath. I do not believe, from my understanding, that this game has as much of a time management system as Wrath of the Righteous. Because, if you've ever played Wrath, you know that you have the, you have, on top of the normal gameplay mechanics, you have the Crusader system. This game has something similar going on, but it's not the same. Okay, wait, I have one rank in... Oh, yeah, okay, because there's nothing else I could do. Okay, I see how that's how it works now. Yeah, a couple things I'm learning because they are different from the beta. I've been playing the beta for the past few days. But I've been basically playing just this part and a little bit of the surface of a planet in this system we end up in. In terms of how far we're going, I will see how I feel after this. Wait, no, I heard item. I will say this opening is a lot more cinematic, and I kinda like it. Theodora? Wait, how did you walk through? I saw warp. Oh, I know where you are. Trickery of the Lord. So yeah, Argentia here is saying, trust in the God Emperor's light. May he protect us, blah, blah, blah. The usual Imperium. Idira here is telling us to trust Lady Theodora. And Abelard is saying, we must help the crew lead them out to find a way. So yes, this is our first path choice. The dogmatic path of, you know, trusting the Emperor will have you walk through the fire. The heretical path will have you accept the offer of help. I don't trust this demon as far as I can throw them because it's a fucking warp demon and I know their shit. And then there's Iconic class, which is get the people off the bridge, which I am going to do this one because, in all honesty, in terms of the 3 alignments, I love the fact there was 3 because I kind of was worried about, but I thought it would also still fit in the world of 40k, that there was only going to be for the Emperor or praise chaos. The fact that we have this 3rd one, I really do like. Because while I may be a psyker, I understand warp demons are not good.
Where did it go? The thing that was standing in front of us in the fire? I could have sworn.
To the same place all unholy visions go. Do you want to follow it, witch?
Yeah, if you can't tell, our sister here does not like the psyker. There we go. Now I look like a true guard. Oh boy. Tech priests are not going to be happy with me.
Too late. We are too late. Or perhaps Edelthrad and his escort never made it here. Which would be even worse.
Or they could be fighting on the bridge as we speak. Without us.
My lady, I beg your pardon for interrupting. The people are asking for orders. You came back to save us. So now we will follow you through thick and thin.
To the bridge. If Edelthrad is there, then he requires immediate assistance. I say there is one thing that I find most troubling. The Lord Captain's Voxcasts. They are still coming in, even though it would make sense for Lady Theodora to be on the bridge right now, at the head of the counter.
Something is off, then.
I feel uneasy. What if the Lord Captain is besieged in her own chambers? With your permission, I suggest that we confirm for ourselves that she is not. We can use the same elevator that Lady Theodora and Mort headed for earlier.
Take all these trophies. You may notice that I'm holding tab a lot to see what I can collect. I do not want to miss anything because all the items I can get will come in handy. I will say, there is a lot of... This was the thing in Wrath 2. There's a lot of loot, but to be honest, the overabundance of loot is more useful in this game than it was in Wrath of the Righteous. Just because of the way these games' economies work. As I said, we are a rogue trader. We are rich. We have enough money to buy planets. So, money's not really a problem for a rogue trader. I don't know where I found an item like that, but yeah, that's the thing. So depending on your conviction rank, there are certain items and special... Some of the higher tier items require you to be heretical, like they're themed items. Like, say, for sake of example, you find a sword related to corn. You'd have to be a heretic to use it. You wouldn't be able to just use it if you were praising the Emperor all the time. Though, in lore, there are people who do that, and they resist its urge because they praise the Emperor so fucking hard. So, a lot of warp shit. Fuck! This is the item that does require our conviction rank. So we are still only level 1 in our convictions. The only character who can use it currently is our Sister of Battle. Before we check the body, let's loot everything.
Emperor, accept thy faithful souls.
No!
Oh, that was a scream.
Lord Captain, I didn't hear a thing. Not a whisper, not a breath. It was so loud. Why didn't I foresee this?
Lord Captain. Who would even dare? Unless that rat, Voidsphere. It could have happened in the heat of battle. Not to mention that Mort was here. And he would have protected Lady Theodora to the last. How could Mort have failed her so terribly? The Arch-Militant was born on a death world. He had lightning-fast reflexes.
I can look at things in my own way. If you find something that might bear the imprint of the killer, just give it to me, and I'll try to see what secrets it holds.
Start with her body. It's an auto pistol shot.
I see streaks of color, luminescence, blue lights, faces drawing closer. Lady Theodora and Conrad and what is that? Ah! Something dark, enormous. Oh, this glass thing was something foul, that's for sure.
Tainted witchcraft.
A handwritten letter. Let's check his body. There's nothing identifying.
Yes, the crucible of battle calls to me once more.
No, wait! We must see if we can find anything.
Idira, you can't bring her back. Let her go.
You'd give up so easily, old man? I expected as much from the sister. It's not like she has a heart. But you? Oh no. I'll get to the bottom of this.
No one's saying we
I'll find the
won't,
one
but
responsible
we got
for murdering
problems
the
with
Lord
it.
Captain. And when I do, that scum will regret the day they were born.
Oh, great, a servitor! Oh, I did not mean to do that. There's a method to my madness about starting over there. So it might not even be necessary. Fuck! This thing's got a lot of armor, so... Yeah, you can see what I mean, though, about here to an extent that leveling is going... I think I mentioned earlier that you'll level up pretty fast in this game. Mostly because it's a higher level cap than the other tabletops. Okay, so let's see here. I got Firearm Mastery, which is... Yeah, so... Yeah, Firearm Mastery is the ultimate skill. We'll talk about that later. I am going to take... Let me see, is there a search? No. Defense, offense, search. So yeah, if we go into warp, you can see there's the different psi ratings. So what you could do in the warp ones, as you reach the higher levels, we could take psi ratings, which will increase our magic damage. Basically, treat the psyker abilities, the best way I could describe it is you treat them like Eldritch Blast for Warlock in D&D. Okay, I don't have any of them yet, but maybe. Oh, they changed it. Ah, cause in the beta I had this as level 2. It's like my first trait. Okay, so I will take something in the warp. Let's see. Don't have any. Oh, I can mark someone's favorite. That's cool. Maybe. Possibly. Where is it? Because you could. Okay, I am kind of confused. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for the ability to use the other. Is that not a thing anymore? I know she is. Maybe it's there. Maybe I have to actually get to level 10 first before I can do it. Huh. I'll go with Psychic Barrage, since I'm going to be keeping my distance anyway. Yeah, I'll increase charge distance. I use it enough. I thought that was a... Wait, is that a Necron? Rapid reload is going to be a little bit more useful on something like a bolter, because bolters have low ammo versus the las gun, which has 40 rounds. I don't think I've had to reload a las gun once so far in all my time on the beta. Bolter, on the other hand, I've had to reload a couple times in the longer combat scenarios.
The first sacrifice opens the eye. The second sacrifice draws its gaze.
Your ritual won't be finished, heretic!
Oh, that can't be good. My man, your eyes are glowing. I think you... Oh, that's about right. Yeah, if you overuse the warp, you could turn into a demon. Yeah, so there is a unique ability system in this game called the momentum meter. If the battle's going well, if it's going very much in your favor, you can trigger heroic actions. Heroic actions are our ultimate abilities. If things are going really bad, though, you can use the desperate maneuver, which is a last-ditch effort to try to turn things around. We're going to open up with Firearm Mastery, which is quite possibly one of the best damaging ones I've seen so far. We could just take a bunch of shots. I will run and gun it so I can get another cast of an ability, and you're gonna go on fire. It's gonna eat its allies to heal. Madeira is prone. Great. That's just great. Gonna let the heretics be dealt with by the guardsmen. I am going to focus on the big one. Wow, Sister of Battles. Oh. Use a bit to heal you up, because psychic damage will come in handy. I think... Really? Fuck, I don't think there's anywhere... Because, yeah, I don't... Okay, I'll just keep focusing on the Chaos Spawn right now. Oh, I think it's is it devouring the bodies too? Okay, so I can't use that. Really? Fuck, we're doing this shit again. Okay, well. Fuck, we might actually wipe. means weird shit's about to start happening. Yeah, nah. Oh, that's about right. I mean, it's still an Owlcat game. I was not expecting it to be easy, but it is definitely, the difficulty is definitely up since the beta.
High momentum.
Save his heroic for right now. Okay, thank you for the damage on your own ally. Have an idea, I just don't know if it's gonna work. Gotta be fucking... Okay, at least one of them has to get back up now. Or has to be able to get back up. gotta be fucking...
High momentum.
Only remaining ally. Just gonna go with smacking it, because otherwise I have to compete to try to use my skills. What the fuck? Oh! Oh my god, that was a bit much. There you go. Now I can use the bolters. Just being able to move more is always going to be useful. Let's see, is there anything else for me to grab? I think we're good. Let's see if we can find the helmsman. Hopefully he survived.
The heir is dead. He's dead.
We need a Lord Captain. And since the last one is dead... we kind of gotta rush things. Oh, that can't be good. Becoming everyone we know. Based on the fact that you're doing this shit, I think you're Zeech. Or at least Zeech adjacent.
As First Officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision,
I can't interrupt. There's no one else.
it is hereby declared
and we need a leader.
The successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful
I don't even think he would
inheritor
listen
of
if
the
I tried to
Warrant of
stop
Trade
him.
and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim, have you lost your tongues? Hail your lady. It is because of her toils that we all still live. The deed is done, mistress. My apologies. I meant to say, Lord Captain.
That we are now a rogue trader.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost.
Sounds like
Lord Captain Theodora von Valencius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the rogue trader dynasty survived, and through the strength of her resolve, saved those who were counting on her for protection.
Just had to stretch for a little bit. How did we lose so many? I mean, it makes sense. It was led by a Master of Whispers who knew the entire workings of the ship. He knew exactly who to target. Summon the officers! Got a new Vox Master. Got a new Master Helmsman. Actually, it's not new. It's our surviving Master Helmsman from that we are inheriting from the last Lord Captain. You collect supplies. Ooh, you will be very important. Second row, we got officers in charge of the vital functions. We got the Master of Ordnance, who's in charge of the guns. The Infernus Master, he's a firefighter. He's meant to prevent the ship from catching on fire. And lastly, the Drive Master, servant of the Omnisire and resident toaster fucker. Okay, so that's our first goal. La Captain, the foe set upon the noble void ship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. So yeah, it's like whole techno babble about machine spirits. Can someone please translate? we received some damage. Hey, you got it, Lord Captain. I'm right here. You could just be, like, loyal to the Emperor. Kill him, even though, I'll be honest, Big E probably wouldn't want that. So we have lost a lot of good supplies. We need a new engine seer, and we need a new navigator. Our Psyker is still going insane. Don't worry, I will soon be on that path. Or I shall become as powerful as Big E. So welcome to our hub. To describe, oh, not a hub, the bridge of our ship is, the best way I can describe it is it's very similar to the, okay, that's retrain. But it's very similar to the camp or the tavern in, Wrath of the Righteous. This is the mercenary system also. You want to fill out your party and you want to control everything in your party, this is a system that lets you create a second player character. This is also very important because apparently this game has multiplayer. I am going to create a second character to travel with us, who shall be our commissar. Actually, I'm going to create a... Yeah, if you go into cooperative mode, so create your own lobby or join an existing one. Make sure all players have the same server region and co-op version. Use the lobby code to join or invite friends. And then I could choose characters to play the game together. So yeah, that's actually a pretty neat system. It's first time Alcaz is doing this. I'm hoping that they actually kind of do it retroactively and add it to Wrath of the Righteous. Because, here's the thing. If they add it to Wrath, because this one could go up to 6 players. If they add it to Wrath, I would love to run Wrath with 5 other people. And yes, I mean 5, because I will always have a spot on my party reserved for Arushula or Ember. I'd probably run with 4, because, and honestly, I know probably 3 people who, maybe 2 other people who'd run Wrath with me if it gets multiplayer added. Gonna create a hard save just in case I mess something up by doing this. I want to see how much I can retrain Avi. Okay, so I can't change my archetype, but I can reset the progress on it. Good to know. We can see some of the other characters in the back. Well, in this who will be recruiting. We can see in the back. The more interesting characters are... Actually, they're all in front. They're fighting Dark Eldar, for one thing. Or at least I think they're Dark Eldar. They're an Eldar race. But we can see a Space Marine, in particular, a Space Wolf, and an Eldar Sniper in the background. That was the shocking thing they revealed to me. When it was like, with the trailer, it's like, so, this is your Eldari Sniper. It's like, I am sorry. The Xeno... What? Don't get me wrong. Out of all the Xenos, the Eldari are the least likely to... Okay, the Eldari are space elves. They are pricks by nature. But they're the least likely to be absolute dicks. They look down on humans because we're, a primitive race. I indeed
have a request.
But they're not going to be like the Tyranids, where they want to eat us, or the Dark Eldari, who want to turn us into living couches. I'll meet with the orphans and the people who died. I'm not gonna give them grandiose speeches. Their parents died so we can live. Play it straight. And put them to work. As is a good void ship. I'm not... A lot of these decisions are just roleplay, so if you... And that's what I do like about this. I liked about it in Wrath, that not all your decisions are going to have, like, you know, repercussions. Some of them are just to flesh out your character. If you wanted to play, like, the full For the Emperor dogmatic, Zealot, you can do that, which I wonder if that means you're gonna kill the Eldari Ranger, because the whole point of the Imperium is not to trust Xenos, which is hysterical given the current state of the Imperium last I checked. I think this is where we are going to be calling it for the day. I'm probably going to keep playing. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. If I do end up streaming it, I honestly am probably going to bring a couple friends, because don't get me wrong, I know a bit about 40k. My knowledge is scatterbrained. I have one streamer in particular, one of my fellow streamers in particular, who we've streamed a couple games with, is a little bit more familiar with certain aspects of Warhammer. I have a friend who has enjoyed my one mod has also played Alcat's games before, in particular Wrath. So I wonder if they'd be willing to join, and I could possibly reach a couple others. The only thing I'm sad about is that we can't be a toaster fucker. I was so hoping to be able to be a member of AdMech. But okay, it's... Establish communications. That seems sketchy. I wouldn't mind, but we need supplies right now. Which, there is a reason I decided to do this. And that is it gives me a chance to talk about the shopping system for this game. So, as you can see, there is no currency in Rogue Trader because, as I've said before, we're rich. We are a Rogue Trader. We've inherited a Rogue Trader dynasty. We own this system. So instead, we have a profit factor. The profit factor will increase as we go through the game. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So mercenary recruitment actually cut it by 1. But yeah, as you play through the game, certain side quests and other things will increase your profit factor. And then you need reputation. So for example, we have the tier 1 rep right here. Anything that has a let's see here. I can... Yeah, so what I'm going to do is... different races need different things. And you can only give items that you've had from your cargo hold that you've filled up to 100%. So right now I could get 200. I'm just gonna hide my untradables. See, I don't have a lot yet. We're still early in the game, so we're not gonna have a lot to be able to use right now. But yeah, as you give them stuff, you'll increase your rep with them, and once your reputation has increased, they'll just give you stuff. Prep our officer. go. With that, I think we're gonna end it there. I'm gonna mark this as the stream end. Here's the thing. If we do make this a full playthrough, if people express interest and want to see me keep playing Rogue Trader, I will probably start a new character, and at that point, I will also reach out to some of my friends and see if I can get them to join me, because, as I've mentioned before, CRPGs are long. Streaming Rogue Trader as a full playthrough is going to be an investment. To quote Remy Down Under during the his video on Wrath of the Righteous, for nothing but a week straight, he woke up, ate, and played Pathfinder. He had Swedish furniture unbuilt in his house. I cannot do that. I cannot wake up, eat, and play Rogue Trader. I will, because I've got work, I've got other things I got to do. So it would be a once a week thing. At minimum, at most it'd probably be once a week. At minimum, once a month, depending on how many people would get involved. It will, because if it's just me and 2 other people, in particular, the 2 I have in mind, I might be able to do it consistently. But I don't know if they'd be interested. I'd have to reach out to them. So there's nothing I can really do there until I know. So I'm a little tired because it is 12:30 for me. I had work today. I basically woke up, did a bunch of stuff around the house, waited until I knew the game released, started the remote download on my phone onto my computer, because I didn't have access to my computer until the stream started, and then I was at work for 8 hours. I then came here, and then I've been streaming for the past 3. I'm a little exhausted, so excuse me. But yeah, no. If people are interested, I'm going to be basing people's interest in me streaming Rogue Trader based on the views on this video. So this on the YouTube site gets a lot of views, and then on top of it, if people express interest in seeing more of it through comments and everything like that, just let me know if you want to see more of it, because a lot of the other games I play aren't, with the exception of things like Super Robot Wars and long series playthroughs, are not a heavy investment in terms of my time, because I could just, stream them at small bits and we work our way through. Rogue Trader is going to be an investment. It's why I don't stream Baldur's Gate 3 or Wrath of the Righteous despite playing them, because they are long investments. I have not beaten Wrath of the Righteous. I have made it to Act 3, and it's not that I lose interest, it's that, I take a break, I go back to it, and I make more progress. It is, and then, or at least I want to, and then I'm like, no, I want to try out something different. I have an idea for a build. And then I just keep switching characters. I don't know what is Baldur's Gate 3. I just have not sat down and put a lot of time into Baldur's Gate 3, which I could imagine a lot of people are going heresy for that. Don't get me wrong. I think Baldur's Gate 3 is a perfectly fine game. It's just for some reason it cannot retain my interest. Rogue Trader, I'm really interested because, don't get me wrong, I like my fantasy. I like my high fantasy games. Actually, you know what I think it is about Baldur's Gate that doesn't let me get interested? It's like, don't get me wrong, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is perfectly fine. I think it's just the overabundance of stuff to loot. Almost all of it being junk. There's too many containers. And on the other side, I want it to be a Hexblade. I want it to be a Hexblade Warlock, and it's not there, so I have to either mod it in or do a bunch of workarounds. It's not as good. But Rogue Trader, as much as I said, though, I was saying, though, I like fantasy, don't get me wrong. I play a lot of fantasy games on here. Sci-fi is still one of my bread and butter. I love sci-fi. I have been delving into the Warhammer lore pretty not even pretty heavily, but I've been dipping in and out. I know a bit about what's going on in the Imperium today, and I know the current state of things going on. I'm not like a deep Warhammer expert. I don't play the tabletop. I know bits and pieces, but the Warhammer tabletop as a I'm not a war game tabletop player. So I would probably be doing a lot more with Rogue Trader. I would have a lot more to say as a fan of sci-fi. But with that though, everyone, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you all later.